All right, all right, all right. Fear. It's that voice in your head telling you you can't, you won't, or you shouldn't. We all have it. But what if I told you there's a way to stop letting it control your life, to rise above it, not fall beneath it? In today's video, I'm going to share the 8 things I did to stop fear from calling the shots. Now, here's the big question. What if you could take back control? What if fear wasn't the one driving your decisions anymore? One, that I got honest with myself. Fear thrives in the dark. The moment I got brutally honest about what I was afraid of, failure, judgment, the unknown, I took away its power. You can't outrun fear, but you can outshine it with truth. You ever try to run from your own shadow? You can't. And that's what fear is sometimes, a shadow we pretend ain't there. But once I stopped pretending and sat down with myself, just me, no noise, no performance, I saw the truth clear as day. I was scared, and it was okay. See, we spend so much time trying to look strong, trying to fake confidence, trying to act like we've got it all figured out. But strength, real strength, it begins with honesty. You got to call fear by its name. You got to say, yeah, I'm afraid of being alone, or I'm afraid I'm not enough, or I'm afraid to fail. When you do that, when you look your fear dead in the eye, it loses its grip on you. That's how you take back the driver's seat in your life. In daily life, that might mean admitting you're overwhelmed at work instead of bottling it up. It might mean telling your partner what's really been weighing on your chest. It might be journaling those thoughts you've been scared to say out loud. It's not about being fearless, it's about being real. Because honesty, my friend, is the starting line of courage. Once you lay it all out, you can start to build. Build a plan, build discipline, build faith, but not on shaky ground, on something solid. So next time fear shows up, don't turn away, don't fake it. Pull up a chair, let it speak, then thank it for its concern and move forward anyway. You get one shot at this ride. Might as well live it as the real you. Fear's gonna visit, sure, but it doesn't get to stay unless you let it. And that's the truth. 2, I took one small step forward. I stopped waiting to feel ready. Action kills fear. Just one small, bold move, even when I was scared, gave me momentum. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving anyway. Sometimes you've just got to walk into the fire. Not because you ain't scared, but because you are. And that's the point. Courage ain't the absence of fear. It's making the choice to move with it. You see, I realized that fear was trying to negotiate with me. Wait until you're ready. What if you mess it up? Maybe tomorrow. But every time I waited, I gave it power. So I started doing the thing anyway. Nervous? Do it. Unsure? Do it. Heart pounding in your chest? Do it. Whether it was picking up the phone for a tough conversation, standing in front of a crowd, launching an idea that might flop, I leaned in. I didn't wait for the fear to leave. I invited it to ride shotgun, but I never let it drive. In everyday life, this could look like applying for that job you think you're not qualified for, speaking up in a room where you'd usually stay quiet, booking that one-way ticket, chasing that passion, saying yes before your brain talks you into no, because every single time you do it anyway, you stacked proof. Proof that you're stronger than your excuses. Proof that you can walk through the discomfort and come out better on the other side. And guess what? It gets easier. Not because the fear goes away, but because you grow. You start trusting your ability to act, not perfectly, but powerfully. So when fear knocks next time, don't wait it out. Lace up your boots, open the door, and start walking. Action is the antidote. And even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble, you show up. Because living a life that's truly yours, it begins when you stop waiting and start doing. 3, I rewrote the story in my head. The narrative we tell ourselves shapes our world. I changed what if I fail to what if I fly. I stopped feeding the fear and started feeding faith. That shift, game changer. The voice in your head, it's the most influential one you'll ever hear. And for a long time, mine, it wasn't exactly kind. It was like living with a roommate who doubted me at every turn. You're not ready. You're going to fail. Who do you think you are? But one day I had to ask myself, who gave that voice the microphone? Why was I letting it narrate my story with fear, with shame, with limits? So I made a decision. If I wouldn't say it to a friend, I wouldn't say it to myself. Every morning I started catching those old thoughts mid-sentence. I'd pause, refrain, and respond like someone who had my back. I can't do this became I'm learning how to do this. I'm scared turned into I'm growing. And slowly the voice changed. It became a coach instead of a critic, a fire starter, not a fire extinguisher. You apply this to daily life in small, consistent ways. You mess up at work, instead of spiraling into self-blame, you say, all right, what's the lesson here? You look in the mirror and don't like what you see. You shift it. This body's carried me through everything. It's still here, and I respect it. It's not about lying to yourself. It's about telling the whole truth, including the part where you're capable, where you've come a long damn way, where you're not broken, you're becoming. You can't control every circumstance, but you can control the commentary. So choose words that build, that breathe, that believe in you, even when it's tough. Because when your inner voice changes, everything else does too. That's how you walk into your life with your head high, your heart steady, and your fear in the rear view. 4, I stopped seeking approval. Fear had me wearing masks to please others, but I realized being liked isn't the same as being at peace. When I let go of needing validation, I found freedom. We live in a world that worships perfect photos, perfect timing, perfect outcomes. But let me tell you, perfection is a moving target, and chasing it is like trying to grab smoke. It'll exhaust you, it'll distract you, and worst of all, it'll rob you of the beauty in the doing. So I stopped aiming for perfect, and I started asking a better question. Why am I doing this? What's the purpose behind it? See, when you shift your focus to purpose, you realign with something real. Purpose has roots. It holds steady when things get messy. It doesn't care if the edges are rough or the road isn't straight. It just asks, is this meaningful? Is it worth showing up for, even when it's hard? In daily life, this looks like giving your all at work, not to impress, but because you're building something that matters. It means starting that side project, not waiting until it's perfect, but because your soul's been calling for it. It means being present with your kids or your partner, not perfectly, but purposefully. Because that's the kind of legacy you want to leave. When you lead with purpose, fear loses its grip. You stop worrying about how you look and start caring about how you feel, aligned, authentic, alive. And the beautiful thing, when you pursue purpose with heart and consistency, you often end up with something better than perfection. You end up with something true. So today, if you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, afraid to move, don't ask yourself, is this perfect yet? Ask yourself, does this mean something to me? Then take the next step. Not flawless, just focused, just real. Because purpose is where the magic lives. And fear doesn't stand a chance when you're rooted in why. 5, I focused on the process, not the outcome. Fear is obsessed with results, but I found calm in the climb. I focused on the work, the craft, the moment. The destination didn't matter as much when I learned to love the journey. When the mind feels like a mess, the body can lead the way. I don't care if it's a 10-mile run or a 10-minute walk. Movement is medicine. It's how you shake the fear out of your limbs and invite clarity back in. Every time I laced up my shoes and hit the pavement or rolled out a mat and stretched, I wasn't just working out, I was working through it. See, fear festers in stillness. It thrives in a body that's stagnant and a breath that's shallow. But once you get moving, something shifts. You stop overthinking and start feeling. The tension it starts to break. The fog, it begins to lift. Daily movement isn't about getting six-pack abs or chasing some aesthetic ideal. It's about anchoring your day in action. It's about saying, no matter what's going on in my head, I control what I do with my body. Start small. Walk around the block with no destination. Dance like no one's watching in your living room. Stretch in silence and let your breath guide you. Let the rhythm of your steps become a mantra. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm moving forward. The beauty is, the more you move, the more you prove to yourself that you're not stuck. You're not frozen in fear. You're in motion, and motion builds momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence invites courage. And courage, that's how you reclaim your life. So the next time fear whispers, stay still, stay safe, I want you to do the opposite. I want you to move, sweat a little, breathe deeper. Remind your soul that progress doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it's just a quiet step forward. Because every time you move, you send a message to fear. You don't own me. I choose life. I choose forward. 6, I practiced stillness. In the silence, I met my fear head on. Meditation, solitude, prayer, whatever you call it, gave me clarity. When you face the noise inside you, you can quiet the noise around you. Here's the deal. We're not always in control of what happens to us, but we sure as hell have control over how we respond. You ever notice how two people can go through the same storm, but one comes out of it stronger while the other gets knocked down by it? The difference? Mindset. Taking ownership of your mindset means choosing how you interpret challenges, setbacks, and yes, fear. It's not about ignoring the tough times or pretending everything's rosy when it's not. It's about acknowledging that life's got its punches, but it doesn't have to knock you out. For me, it meant recognizing when I was slipping into negative thinking. The I can't do this or I'm not good enough thoughts. Those are the weeds in your garden, and if you don't pull them out, they'll take over. Instead of letting those weeds grow wild, I started to cultivate positive self-talk. Every time fear crept in, I'd remind myself, I'm built for this. I'm not defined by my circumstances. I get to decide what happens next. And it doesn't happen overnight. Changing your mindset is like building muscle. It's a daily workout. It's about recognizing when your thoughts are holding you back, then choosing to shift them towards something empowering. It's about finding the silver lining even when the clouds are dark. Instead of this is too hard, you start saying, I can do hard things. In daily life, this means not letting setbacks define your day. If you hit a roadblock, instead of letting it ruin your mood, you ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? You take accountability for your emotional state, and that's real power. So take ownership. Your mindset is the one thing you can control. And when you control that, you're unstoppable. 7, I surrounded myself with bravery. I started keeping company with people who dared greatly. Fear is contagious, but so is courage. The right tribe doesn't let you play small. Listen, if you want to protect your peace, you've got to learn the art of saying no. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. It's not about shutting people out. It's about creating space for yourself to thrive. For too long, I was that guy who said yes to everything, to every request, every favor, every opportunity that came my way. I didn't want to disappoint anyone, but what I didn't realize was by saying yes to everything, I was saying no to my own peace of mind, to my own energy, to my own growth. So I had to make a shift. I had to get comfortable with saying no, not just to others, but to myself when I wanted to take on too much. Setting boundaries means respecting your time, your energy, and your mental health. It's about recognizing that you are not a limitless resource, and that's okay. In daily life, setting boundaries is as simple as saying, I can't take on one more thing right now, or I need some time for myself. It means taking your needs seriously. It might be turning off your phone for a few hours, saying no to that extra project, or telling a friend, I need a break. It's not always easy, especially when you fear letting people down. But when you respect your own boundaries, others will start to respect them too. It builds a foundation of self-worth. It's not selfish, it's self-care. So start small. Set a boundary today. Protect your peace. Be unapologetic about it, because when you honor your own limits, you open the door for growth, energy, and a life on your terms. 8, I made peace with failure. I stopped fearing failure when I realized it's not the opposite of success, it's part of it. Every misstep taught me something, and once you stop running from it, failure becomes your teacher, not your enemy. Here's the truth: we can't always see the finish line when we're in the middle of the race. Life doesn't always give us the roadmap we want. Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it doesn't make sense, but you've got to trust the process, even when you can't see the bigger picture. For me, that meant learning to take things one step at a time. There were moments I wanted instant results, immediate success, or all the answers right now. But I had to realize that growth isn't linear. It doesn't always happen on our timeline, and that's okay. When you trust the process, you stop fighting against the flow. You start to embrace the idea that every challenge, every setback, every failure is part of your journey. You stop looking for shortcuts and start recognizing that the struggle is where the magic happens. Without the tough times, you wouldn't have the lessons that prepare you for the next chapter. In daily life, trusting the process means not getting frustrated when things don't go according to plan. It's about understanding that the effort you put in today will pay off down the road, even if it's not today. It's about looking at every small step, every small win, and realizing that they all add up over time. You've got to keep moving forward, even when it feels like progress is slow or invisible. Trust that the work you're putting in now will bear fruit later. Trust that the lessons you're learning will become the wisdom you need when the time is right. So trust the process. Let go of the need for instant gratification. The path you're on, the one that's unfolding step by step, will take you exactly where you need to be. So there you have it. 8 things I did to stop fear from controlling me. The truth is, we all feel fear, but it's not about letting it run the show. It's about learning how to face it, embrace it, and move forward anyway. The question I posed earlier, what if you could take back control? Well, you can. You just have to start now. Take that first step, no matter how small. Now, I want to hear from you. How do you overcome fear in your life? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's start a conversation. And hey, if you found this video helpful, make sure to check out the next one in the playlist. It's all about how to turn setbacks into comebacks. You won't want to miss it. Until next time, keep moving forward. Stay strong, stay fearless.